Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Time Cut. I'm actually a little disappointed. I was excited. You know, it's a Netflix movie, hour and 30 minutes long. It's about a high school student who accidentally travels back to 2003 and decides, look, it must be boring, I'm already yawning, and decides to stop a serial killer who murdered her sister. Alright, and it is Madison Bailey from Outer Banks, so Michael Shanks is in it, and that's about it. So I don't know, I don't think I've seen Madison Bailey in anything else. Here's the bad news: 4.9 on IMDb, but only 686 people rated it so far. I don't know, maybe this isn't the right choice, but I have it up now. We're gonna watch it. It's on Netflix. Stick around, I'll let you know if it's worth it. I'll be back. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of Time Cut, and I'll start off by saying 4.9 I think is off. Is it an amazing story? No. And I will tell you, I was worried early. And so set it up as they show the past, right? So we know that one of the sisters gets murdered along with some other people. And, you know, her sister from the future finds a time machine and goes back to that time where she now gets to see her sister and essentially try and save her, right? That's what it said, and that's what it is. And so it starts off with that, showing what happens, and then it flashes forward 21 years, so it's 2024, and they flash back to 2003, and that cracked me up right there. But before we go down that path, the time travel piece, you know, they go to visit her sister's, not grave, but memorial, I guess, right? And she sees this flash and then finds this time travel machine, which allows her to go back to 2003. That right then and there, when I saw that, I was like, I want to say the term's hokey. I don't know. It really felt immature, childish. I don't know. It just, like at that point, I thought, this is not my demographic, right? Like this is, you know, a show that, you know, maybe my daughters would like, just from that point of view, leaving out the whole murderous beginning. You know, but I mean, like, I'm sure they've seen movies. It's not gory or anything like that. You know, they've seen Wednesday, so it's got that little bit of vibe to it, right? But even like less edgy than Wednesday, much less. It really felt. I think it is PG-14 or something like that, or MA-14, whatever. It's very clean for the most part. There's no, you know, there's just I don't know, kissing maybe, and maybe you know, you could see death coming. I don't know, whatever. So you know, that threw me off right in the beginning, and I got to the point where I was like, do I even want to watch this? Because 4.9 and then this hokey time travel, even though I knew time travel was coming, I just didn't like the way it was done. That's okay, get past that. And I'm getting past it. And then it was just like your normal high school teen movie trying to solve a murder and save people, right? So she knows what's going to happen, so she finds a friend, and it goes on. One thing I thought was interesting, the teacher played a very little role. So the teacher in the future and then in the past, I thought we're going to, you know, it's more of a cameo for the two of them, or for the teacher in both, whatever. But I'm sorry, I just went off track. But you know what I'm saying? Like then it's just your teen, I know what you did last summer kind of movie trying to save people from this killer, trying to figure out who it is and save her sister and her friends and all that kind of stuff. And you're gonna have a you know, despite the time space continuum is gonna be all ruined. There's gonna ripple effect. We're gonna have boom boom boom. So there's all that, right? You get it, right? It's perfect for an hour and a half movie. What I laugh at is, you know, when we see things like when you watch Back to the Future and it goes from 85 all the way back. Whoa! Well, this one goes from 2024 to 2003. And you know, initially I always think like that's not that far. You know what I mean? Like you know, I guess. And then you look at the differences, and again, like there's not that big of a dip. Sure, people wore Uggs back then. I didn't even know they were out of style. Not that I have Uggs, but like that. And the way that they dressed, I couldn't, and it was more of a girl thing because I couldn't tell anything from the guys, right? You know what I mean? Like the girls, You know, whereas if you go back to the 80s, you can see, whoa, maybe even the 90s, you can see a little bit more, you know, the grunge look coming out. But really, when you go from 2024 to 2023, sure, I guess the girls look a little different when they were trying to do that. And they had flip phones, or like, you know, they still had Walkman, the CD Walkman. So, okay, there's some things there. But other than that, and maybe the truck that they drove around in, but you see people driving, this is an old Bronco, you see people driving them now. So, I don't know. So, you know, you didn't see that big, I didn't see that big difference between when they hop back and forth. Whatever. Who cares? That's what the whole movie's. And I'm not a big fan of time travel. I say that. But movies about time travel, I know what I'm getting. The things I don't like about time travel is when they use it to resolve issues. You know, you get a movie and it's like, oh, we'll just go back in time and fix everything. I know that's the whole premise of this movie. She's going back there. But that's the premise of the movie. It's not like, hey, this movie's all about this. And then we're going to throw in time travel to get us all out of the mess. Anyway, I digress. Wow, look at me rhyme. So, there you go. It's like it's made for teens, not necessarily for me. And it's got that little bit of hokiness, but then it plays out as you would think a 5 or a 6 movie kind of would, you know, with this time travel thing. I had a big point I wanted to launch into, but you know, they reference malls. So, you know, it's like, oh, malls, and they, you know, the people go to the mall and all that kind of stuff. Oh, okay. So now, with all that said, I'm watching this, right, and the killer comes out, and he's got this mask on. And you might have seen previews if you haven't already. It looked very familiar to me. I was like, I've seen that mask or something similar before. And so I'm like, let me look it up. And I just typed in killer into IMDb and scrolled, and it was from Totally Killer. And it came out in 2023. It's now on Halloween. It's out on Amazon. So it just came out last year. And it's a slasher horror, teen horror. This one is rated R, though. And listen to the premise of this movie. When an infamous Sweet 16 killer returns 35 years after his first murder spree to claim another victim, 17-year-old Jamie accidentally travels back into 1987, determined to stop the killer before it can all start. What just happened? Did I just go back in time? But you get it? Like, I saw the mask. I don't know if these movies are related. I didn't notice any of the director or the writers or anything like that when I looked at all of them. But what? I look at that, I can't believe it. And that's what we get. It's Time Cut and Totally Killer have pretty much a very similar premise with the same masks. And I watched that one. And, you know, it was just an okay, kind of like this. This is the same thing. Slasher, horror, teen horror, time travel horror, mystery. But this one is TV 14. So, I did not Google to see what is the relationship between these two movies. But they have very similar time travel, slasher, horror premises with very similar masks. Now, they could be different, and I messed it all up, but what? Like, that's crazy. And I see things like that happen even more with, like, bigger movies, you know. And I can't think of them right now, but they seem like they release the big blockbuster movie, you know, whatever that's called, and then they have, like, a low-budget B movie that's released very similar times. So I don't think this has anything to do with this, or if this is just the Mandela effect and I saw this, I don't know. It's crazy. Crazy, even considering it's time travel. So had to throw that out there. That's all I got, I think. I had more, but, you know, then check it out. You know, it's all what's going to happen, what's going to impact the time-space continuum, and how's everybody, who's going to live, who's not. There you go. That's it. That's all I got. I don't got any more. I think I shared a lot of interesting treats without getting into spoilers. Hopefully I was helpful. I'm at a 5, maybe a 6, so I guess a 4.9. But normally, you know, who cares? You see what I mean. Alright, I'm rambling on. Thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.
Thank you.